Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this evening's guest moderator, Whitney Matheson of USA Today, and tonight's guest, Jeff Garlin.
Thank you. It's really me. Oh, very good. All the Pixar movies. Thanks. You got it, man.
Jeff, I'm so excited to be
As well you should be.
moderating this
Even
event.
though you just spent an hour with me,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
should continue your excitement.
The excitement continues. It
Yes.
builds. It only
Yes,
builds.
yes, it does. With me, it builds.
So are you enjoying, you have a few days in New York this week. Have you enjoyed your time in the 93-degree heat?
Having nothing to do with the 93-degree heat, all I've done is been interviewed and done an interview. And I've had no time to enjoy the magic of the 93-degree heat. But it's not bothering me. It's fine. We filmed Curb Your Enthusiasm here 2 summers ago,
Right.
where it was the record-breaking heat. As a matter of fact, the hottest day, we were filming all-day softball scenes in Central Park. So this is nothing. Yeah.
Well, I am a big fan of your podcast. I have
you.
said that many times. And I also love this new movie, which
Thank
is
you.
on iTunes now. We just saw the trailer.
It's on iTunes, so people can watch it on Apple TV.
They can. They can.
Right. By the way, if there ever was a bargain in the world of Apple TV, $99, you would dig it beyond belief. That's all I'm saying. No one's paying me. No one's giving me 6 or 7 Apple TVs to give to my friends. Wink, wink. No. I love Apple TV. I mean, I like all Apple stuff. I dig Apple, but Apple TV is like I use it every day.
The amazing thing about this movie is it's mostly, what percentage would you say is improvised? Close to 100? 100.
100%.
Because there was...
As a matter of fact, none of the script was 20 pages long. Only I saw it, and my co-writer, Peter Murrieta, and everybody else, the actors, I told them before we filmed the scene what the scene was about and what their character might want to do in the scene. And then we were off to the races.
And how you got a very high caliber...
That's what you need
cast.
when you do
Yeah.
something like this. You need great people, and they were great, and they delivered. I rarely had to do more than 2 or 3 takes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the cast was, did you know all these people? Did you have them in mind before you...
I had them in mind as I was rewriting the script. I thought, oh, he would be great, she would be great. And I got pretty much everybody I wanted. So it worked out perfect. And also, I only had 12 days to film it, so I didn't have a lot of scheduling problems. I had to rewrite the ending to not include... I couldn't shoot the ending that I have with J.B. Smoove. So I added a storyline for the ending for his character to be doing something else that I could film earlier. That's like an adjustment I had to make. It wasn't difficult, but you know.
Now, I remember a few years ago when you had a movie called I Want Someone to Eat
I Want Someone to Eat Cheese With, yes, which premiered here at the Tribeca Film Festival.
Oh, and I remember hearing that was not an easy movie to make. Was it difficult to
Actually, no, that movie was difficult to get finance. I lost financing twice, that sort of thing. But when I was actually shooting, it was joyful and a pleasure.
So in this case, everything kind of came together.
IFC actually paid for the movie. They usually acquire movies, at festivals and stuff, but they paid for this in advance. So when I was shooting it, even though it was 12 days, low budget, whatever, I knew it was going to be released.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, we have a clip from the movie that we should watch, and I think
We all should watch.
I think J.B. Smoove is in
really
this,
should.
and Bob Odenkirk.
Excuse me, those of you at the Genius Bar, people, yes, you should watch this clip from my new movie. You should. Once the clip is over, go back to your own business, realize why mail is not getting your mail, all that stuff. But until then, what happened to your pictures in iPhoto and you deleted them? Yes. But until then, this clip is very important for you. All right? So go ahead, show the clip.
All right, let's roll it.
Yeah, and what he's not getting is all I'm saying to them is I want to research possibly doing a movie, and he's going to pull the plug if they don't win the championship. Those are the kind of idiots that I actually met in real life when my children were playing that made me go, I have to make a movie.
And I was saying to you earlier that you should do this like Woody, like every year, go out.
And every year I will make a movie. Every summer I will make an improvised movie, and every summer it'll be Meet the Director here at Apple. And but next time I'm going to make a Genius Bar appointment. They're hard to get, and maybe with the pull of doing this, I can get in because I'm having problems with my MacBook Pro that can be fixed very easily. But actually, I'm so into Mac that I actually, I've been waiting at the Genius Bar, and friends have come up with their computers and like, oh, and I go, what's your problem? They tell me, and I fixed their stuff before they've even got up there. My stuff was serious stuff that I had no idea what I was doing, but theirs, and I didn't ruin their computers. I think that's my fantasy, is to work at the Genius Bar. You know what? Oh, I doubt. Apple's a corporation. They won't let me. But that would make a great Funny or Die video, to have me at the Genius Bar and people come up and, yeah, that'd be fun.
It would be fun.
I'm actually going to try and make that happen.
You should.
I'm very busy right now. I'm about to start filming a new TV show. But when I have a free minute, I will do the big Genius Bar bit.
So I know it's not really like baseball is the setting, but it's
Yes.
not really a movie about baseball.
It's about parents.
Yes.
It's not about the kids. The kids are truly the background. My son has a bigger part than most of the kids, but it's a very adult movie about the parents.
Your son has a part. Tell us.
No, my son doesn't have a part.
Okay.
No, I'm saying the kid who plays my son.
Yes.
That part, the son part.
Yeah.
My sons are not allowed to be in anything.
Well,
here's the thing. I did daddy daycare. I work with kids. Kids are treated like adults. They're not free to be kids. When they do that, people have expectations that they're, and so what people have requested my children, friends of mine, filmmakers and such, no, they can't.
So are you yourself a big baseball fan?
I'm a huge baseball fan.
Who's your
but not
team?
big enough to go to the All-Star game tonight. I actually blew off. I was invited 3 different times to go tonight, and I blew it off because I committed to this. And to be honest, the All-Star game sucks, and I prefer to be here. World Series, I may have blown it off. World Series with the Cubs, we wouldn't have even had this conversation off the record.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw the other day you sang
I sing
at Wrigley Field.
That's something that a tradition at Wrigley Field. Someone sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and I do it pretty much every year. And I did it this year wearing a Mexican wrestling mask because it was there. I just put it on and I sang with a Mexican wrestling mask. There you go.
Now, this is a pretty, I guess you would call this an indie movie. It is very
It's
indie.
most definitely an indie movie, even though it's financed by an indie company. And the budget was $750,000. It's a big bowl of indie movie.
So most of the movies that you watch personally, do you enjoy watching independent film more than
I pretty much only watch. I mean, it's not an elitist. No, I shouldn't say that. I saw White House Down recently, which was hysterical. It's one of the funniest movies. It's so bad, it's great. Oh, did I laugh? Your friend said it was good? Well, I'm glad he enjoyed it. All right, well, maybe it is good. I don't know. I'm saying for me. For me, I had a lot of laughs. And I didn't care if people talk. See, that's another thing. That's why Apple TV, it's great. You watch on your TV, no one's talking behind you. Unless you have a family. Actually, in my house, but then again, I'm watching, Fellini movies, and I'll say no talking. Or people go, what are you doing, Dad? Quiet. It's a Marichord. I see as many indie movies as I can. A lot of them I see on Apple, on iTunes, but also I could try and go. I went to the movie theater. I saw Frances Ha. I love going to documentaries. Here's the thing. I want to spend money on things that are worthy. So usually the crap I wait for Netflix.
Now, I wanted to ask some questions about your podcast.
You can ask questions about my podcast.
Which is fantastic, and every episode has been something I must listen to.
Right.
You have And it also has convinced me you're probably the best connected person in Hollywood.
Well, I have, a lot of my friends, I was friends with them before they were stars. So if you want to say that way, the key to that is picking out smart, funny friends when you're starting out and maintaining nice friendships. And then you can be well connected later on.
Well, what do you like about podcasting?
What do I like about podcasting? You can release it as quickly as you want, even though mine are delayed. But I have nothing to do with that. It's a non-corporate, non-controlled, artistically freeing way of putting out great programming. I mean, hopefully great programming. But if you have a radio show, you got to play the commercials. I mean, on mine I have, I think, Squarespace and whatever, but it's a few seconds every half hour, which is the complete opposite of, regular radio, So, you don't know. That's why lately I've been on the run. I think it's because I'm tired. Because athletes, when they're interviewed, say, But then again, if we did know, then why did we ask the question?
That's
Hi.
true.
I've forgotten what you asked me. Now you
No,
asked me
that's
about
cool.
podcasts. I enjoy it very much.
Tell me some of the upcoming guests, because I know you've already recorded.
My
some
next guest that I'm recording is Vince Gilligan, July 22nd or 23rd. Then after that, JB Smoove. And some other ones come. Dimitri Martin will be coming up. And then I've already recorded Sarah Silverman. I've got, what's her name? Parks and Recreation. Amy Poehler, who was great. Oh, I love Amy Poehler. I've got some great ones coming up.
And do you listen to a lot of podcasts yourself?
I listen to This American Life. Occasionally Mark Maron's, occasionally other people's, but This American Life I listen to. And that's not necessarily a podcast, but I listen to the podcast version because on Saturdays I'm not always able to tune in.
Yeah, and you said Vince Gilligan, so does that mean you've seen new episodes of Breaking Bad?
Oh, I wrote all the final episodes of Breaking
good.
Bad.
Good.
And I actually play all the characters. No, I have not seen anything, and I will not be asking him about anything because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's not like a game for me. For me, it's like I want to watch those shows. I'll probably talk to him about everything but that. So I imagine he'll enjoy our conversation more than other interviews he'll do.
Yeah. Because
I may ask him for the opening question, what's the very last scene? How does it end? But he'll know I'm joking.
And I have to ask what I'm sure many people here want to know. Have you gotten a call from Larry David about another season of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, but I have gotten many calls from Larry David. I get a call from him every couple of weeks, and I call him every couple of weeks. But we have not discussed Curb at all. I leave him alone. He'll call me randomly and go, hey, you want to do more? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And the thing with the Goldbergs, my new show on ABC, is that I can still do Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And when you and Larry David are just having a chat, what are some things you talk about? Just out of curiosity.
What was our last conversation about? Oh, I can't talk about that. But, sometimes we talk about baseball. We talk about food. We talk about people we know. We talk about what friends talk about.
Yeah.
We just talk. I don't know. We like talking to one another. You know what? Our last conversation, he told me he listened to the podcast that he was on.
He listened to his own?
He did. And I thought, that's crazy. First off, I never expected him to do it. The reason he did it was because we're friends. And then I never would expect him to ever listen to it. It's him. He loved it. And he goes, those are two guys who like each other. And I said, it is. It was great. I was so happy that he loved it.
Oh, that's good.
He told me when we were done recording it that night that was the most fun he'd ever had being interviewed.
Yeah, I think it really showed. That comes through.
It's
and
really funny.
I'm shocked that you don't use any notes when you're interviewing people.
No, I do no preparation.
And it's not even an interview. It's just like you're hanging out in their kitchen.
Just hanging out and talking. Their notes would ruin it. Preparation would ruin it. That's one of the instances. Like, for example, when I do stand-up, I generally improvise my show, but a lot of times I'll have an outline or an idea of what I do. Some nights no, but a lot of times I do, and it can be very helpful to have an outline. But when I do these conversation things, nothing.
And before we go, I'm sure some of you have questions. I just want to say it was great to see you in Arrested Development again.
Yeah, it was
and
fun.
what was that experience like filming
First
this?
off, I had no idea what I was doing and what it was about when I was filming it. And to me, they had a board connecting this and that, like in each scene, what other characters have to be seen for future episodes and past episodes. And I actually said to Mitch Hurwitz, who's been on the podcast,
Yeah.
I said, you've combined calculus and comedy. Because it was very mathematical, and it was almost unintelligible what he was. I had no idea what was going on, as long as he did, you know. But it was amazing to see something you'd watch in episode 4, you'd see again in episode 8, but from a different character's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was amazing.
So you watched the whole.
I watched the whole thing. I watched all of House of Cards. I can't wait to see Orange is the New Black. As soon as I get off this press tour, I will. You know.
Cool.
Yeah. And when I say get off this press tour, talking to people like you, a situation like this, lovely. Some people are idiots, but you're great. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Well, thank you.
I am.
Likewise.
No, it's true. I'm very happy.
Well, why don't we go to the audience for some questions? If any of you guys, I think there's
So
someone
just
with a
raise your
microphone.
hand. Yep,
I
I'll
think
come
we
on
need
over.
to start
We're
with
going to
him.
start right here, and then we'll
It's
come
just
on over
my
to you in
gut
the second
feeling.
row.
Let's start with him.
Thanks, Jeff. My name is Evan, and I have a question. For Wall-E, Toy Story 3, and Cars 2, how did you develop the voice for the Captain, Buttercup, and Fred? And what was it like being involved in Pixar and working with John Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, and Leon Kretsch?
Okay. A couple things. The idea that you remember or know my character's name from Cars 2 is amazing because I don't even know the name of the character. As far as I knew, I was the lemon, right? I was a lemon car, yeah. Yeah, he told me in the beginning. So I did, by the way, I did no preparation on any of the characters. They brought my wife and I up to Pixar to tell me about Wall-E. It was just some drawings and stuff. And I love how they wanted to sell me on doing it. Like it wasn't yes when I got the phone call. I had to fly up to, you know. But they said they wanted what I would be as these characters. And then I worked 3 years on Wall-E. I worked a couple years on Toy Story 3. I worked a few months on Cars 2 because I came on late for that. As far as working with the directors, what the directors do when you don't work with other actors, and what the directors do, and all three of them are great at it, is they paint a picture. As much as I said on, let's say, Arrested Development, which is actually live action, and I'm with other actors, I knew more of what was going on in the animated world because they would paint a picture. And then I would go into it in my imagination. And I have to say, as much as people think that animation is easier, certainly bad animation is easy to voice, but with Pixar movies, you do take after take after take, and usually when you're doing live action, there's a stopping to reset the cameras, redo the lights, and you go over to the craft service table, have a snack. But these, boom, over and over and over, and you're using your imagination. It's exhausting. You do like 3 or 4 hour sessions, and working with all those directors was great. And there wasn't one time that I didn't think to myself, oh my God, I'm in a Pixar movie. Every day I thought that, how lucky I was. And as wonderful as all of them are, and I love Toy Story 3, for example, but Wall-E is probably my most proud accomplishment of my career. I'm more proud of that movie than anything I've ever done. So there you go. You're welcome.
Next question's right in front of you in the second row.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, Jeff?
I'm young and handsome. How are you?
I'm good. I love you on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Thank
I have
you.
a question. So what is your favorite improv moment on Curb? And what's the most awkward moment, that just arose but it became genius or something?
Well, there's I don't think I've ever had an awkward moment. I had a mistake moment in terms of only one time that we shoot something with my character, and it didn't quite work the way Larry wanted. And it's so hard to talk because you know how the show can be wildly inappropriate. Let's say there's a scene where I tell Larry how I fantasized about his wife.
Right.
We shot it one time and it was just a bit too graphic for Larry. So he said, we shot it again, different location, and he said, this time tell me like I should be happy for you, which made it much funnier. So that was one that didn't. And as far as favorite moments, boy, there's so many. But recently, the one I think I've enjoyed the most was the one where Larry is, for me, as a favor to me, is pretending to wear woman's underwear. And we had a scene in the kitchen where I am telling him how he's supposed to approach telling people that he wears ladies' underwear. That was one of my favorite scenes to do with him.
And I like the scene. Like, it was really funny. I think it's one of the earliest seasons. Like, I think you were sick or something, and then you're like, Larry, go to my house and take out all the porn tapes.
Oh, the porn stash.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That
And
was
also, I
fun.
wrote a spec like last summer. If you don't mind, like reading maybe 5 pages.
I can't read it.
Really? Why not?
Because if we do anything like it, and the show, hopefully we'll do another season. So I've never read a curb spec.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I've been approached hundreds of times.
I'm sure,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
apologize.
It's okay.
And when the show's canceled,
Right.
I'm not canceled, but not on anymore.
Right,
I'd
right.
love to read your curb spec
Right.
and tell you my thoughts.
Hopefully
but
I see
right
you
now I
again, yeah.
cannot. Yes, approach me with it in the future. No
Okay.
more curb. I'll read it.
All right. I think so
All right,
much.
you got it.
I
I'm
see another
sorry,
question.
though, I truly am. Because I was disappointed. You go, oh, maybe I'll read it. But no. Okay, sure.
We're going to take another question in the front row, and then we're going to head over to the second row again.
Wow, that's letting them know what's going to happen.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for being here tonight.
My pleasure.
First of all, the scene that you did do talking about Cheryl to Larry was unbelievably funny. The one that did make the cut.
It was fun to do, yeah.
Oh, great episode.
Thank you.
But I have a question. When you're filming a movie like Dealing with Idiots, and it's improvised,
Yes.
you said usually 2 or 3 takes. 2 questions about
Yeah.
that. One, are the takes generally very different from each other? And 2, when you're in a scene, is it very difficult to know whether you've got what you thought you wanted out of it?
A couple thoughts here. Number one, if I do a few takes, if I think I need something again, I'll ask an actor, repeat that one part of it, that one beat. But in general, I prefer, as an actor and as a director, people trying different things every take. And I'm not big on a lot of coverage because I love medium shots and masters. So coverage is like when you get the singles and all that. I don't like that very much. I mean, I'm very influenced by Woody Allen and a lot of European filmmakers. So I love masters and medium shots. In my gut, I know when I have it, but I have a producer at all times. Christine Vachon produced this movie, but also Erin O'Malley, who's like my producing partner, and she was always on set. So I would make sure, I would check with her every time just to make sure that technically I got what I wanted. I didn't check with her performance-wise, just technically. And if she said yes, I moved on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second row, all the way to your right.
How you doing, Jeff?
You're killing me, man. All right, go ahead.
So I read somewhere that you didn't invite Larry to your son's bar mitzvah. And I was wondering why you didn't invite him and why was he so revealed and happy that you didn't invite him?
That's why I didn't invite him. He didn't want to be invited, and he was thrilled. You know, I'm going to tell you something amongst Jews. We don't want to go to bar mitzvahs. I want to go to my son's bar mitzvah. I want to go to certain people's bar mitzvahs, but in general, no, don't invite me to, I don't want to go. He really doesn't want to go. And I told him way in advance, you're not going to be invited. And he would say to me, thank you. Oh, thank you. Does it? Yes, it's just, it can be, I don't want to go to weddings either. I don't want to go anywhere. I like napping. So, so he was very happy. But it wasn't because I didn't feel he deserved to be invited or I didn't want him around me. He knows my children and all that stuff. But no, he was thrilled. Yeah.
Next question's in the back row in the middle.
Okay. You're very good at what you do. But it's official. Yes, my friend.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi.
So, what's the difference between raw funny and like stand-up comedy?
Raw funny
Yeah, like people just naturally funny or can just make,
and stand-up comedy?
yeah.
Well, here's the thing, if I may.
Go ahead.
Let's say that you're a funny person. It's going to take you a number of years before you can make a room full of strangers laugh the way they laugh, or the way your friends laugh at you. So there is a period of adjustment. I went into stand-up comedy because, I wanted to be a filmmaker, actually, at the beginning. That's why I studied in college. I dropped out to become a comedian, still a comedian, but also a filmmaker. But it took at least 10 years before I made a room full of strangers laugh consistently the way I made my friends laugh. And now, I don't even prepare much when I go up, and I just treat the audience like they're my friends and just start talking. But it takes a long time before what I assume when you said raw funny, what that means. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You got it.
We're going to head back to the front row.
I know.
All
I
the
know.
way to your
I love,
right.
you're big on agendas. Do you use iCal? Yeah.
Live in it.
Live in iCal.
Hi, Jeff. Thank
Hi.
you. This is wonderful. I'm not even going to ask you how you are, but I love that response, young and handsome. I think I'll start using
I've
it.
been saying it since I was young and handsome. It's fun to say it now, and everyone gets a chuckle.
Actually, considering what just happened, I'm going to say I'm young, handsome, and black in America.
You are young, handsome, and black in America, and good for you, my friend.
Great. I want to know what got you into making improvised movies, and what sort of really got you into this. Is there's so much scripted stuff out there,
Yes,
and
there's
you're
not a
going
lot
into
of
the
improv-
genre in which there's so little of it, and you're really making such a successful go at it.
Well, thank you. I guess the first guy to do improvised movies was Cassavetes. Not that they were comedies by any stretch. And it wasn't like I planned for this, but what led me from a journey, let's say from Second City to Curb Your Enthusiasm, to me this was the logical next step. When I made I Want Someone to Eat Cheese With, it was not an improvised movie. There was a full script, but I encouraged the actors to improvise. They didn't improvise that much. They did some. But I think this is the way I'm going to go from now on, because it's sort of, this is what I do. I'm comfortable. It's my comfort zone, and I know, and I think I'll build up a rep company. A lot of these people you'll see in my next film, and I'll keep going that way. And I'm always going to do movies like this. Not that I won't direct something that's scripted, but I'm either going to have to write a script that I'm terribly proud of. Not that I'm not proud of the improvised scripts that are 20 pages or so, or I'm going to have to receive one from somebody who'll say, you want to direct this? And I'll go, wow, this is great. Because I'm a huge fan of, Preston Sturgis, Billy Wilder. I mean, I love scripted material, but I think that this is my strength as a filmmaker right now.
We've got time for 2 more questions.
Well, the lady in the hat.
Yeah, we were going to do one
And then
here.
who else?
And then we'll go, so back row here, no
And
hat.
then how about
and then
3?
hat. You want
And
to do a
this
third?
This gentleman right here has been raising his hand for over 30 seconds.
We'll do 3. We'll start here.
Okay.
That's the agenda.
That's the agenda. Thank you, Cal Johnson.
My agenda is.
No, you don't have to state your agenda, but thank you.
My question is.
Yes.
Can you describe the biggest idiot that you have met?
In life?
Yes, in this life.
Wow.
You have said
You know
that.
what the truth is? If I could remember the biggest idiot of my life, I'd have issues. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a parade of idiots through life. I laugh at them. That's all I can do. Yes. We're coming to you, my friend in the hat.
I'm a big fan of all of your work, Curb.
Thank you.
And the Pixar movies and Daddy Daycare, my kids particularly enjoy. We wanted to know what it's like to work with Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy is the quickest and funniest person I've ever worked with. It doesn't mean that everybody else isn't funny. They're great. But I can tell you this is when I was working with Eddie, things happen on a set that are funny. They just happen. And when you're a comedic person in a movie, you say something funny, the crew laughs. It sets a nice tone, what have you. Every time something happened that I deemed was worthy of me making a comment about, before I could say what I was going to say, Eddie would make his comment. There wasn't one time, and I'm talking not exaggerating, not one time where what I was going to say was funnier than what he said. He was funnier every single time. And he was very generous to me. There were different funny bits and physical comedy, and he let me do it. He said, have Jeff do that. He might have been tired, I don't know. But yeah, he was great to work with.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming to you now. Thank you, Agenda Johnson. Or I, Cal Jones. I don't know, whatever you want.
Was there a certain point when you were coming up in your career when you finally had that moment where you thought, wow, I think I'm actually going to be able to make a living doing this? Like
the make a living moment?
Yeah.
That came one year I made $20,000, and there was like 3 or 4 years in, and I thought, because prior to, even after that, I have to say, I had my dad in Chicago wire me money, because I was broke. I had nothing to fall back on, but I had no choice to move forward. And I got to tell you, there's never a point where you think you're, at least for me. And I've talked, I have some friends, and you'd be surprised as to who these people are, especially how successful they are, where we've discussed where, like I said, do you feel like a star? And they're like, no way. No way. And I know for myself, I know I'm not a star, but I haven't even accomplished half of what I want to or hope to accomplish. And I could be out of work actually I haven't worked I've done some stand-up shows, but I haven't filmed Curb in a long time, and I'm about to be employed. I started shooting in August on the Goldbergs. It's been a while since I've really worked and made some decent money. You got to be passionate and really want it. And I think if I ever become a fat cat, I'll stop being funny and I'll stop doing interesting work. So I like the edge that is always around me.
Thank you.
Oh,
well,
thank you and your bangs.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I got them trimmed just for you.
Oh, you got them trimmed this week? Okay.
I did. And
right.
I just want to say it's been such a pleasure talking to you.
My
and
pleasure.
Meeting you.
Thank you.
And you guys, thanks for
tomorrow
coming.
night, by the way, the movie opens at the IFC Center, and I'll be there answering questions about it afterwards. So if you want to come, please do. And it's running there for a week. And like I said, it's available on iTunes, so you can do it that way too. And thank you very much.
So yes, go see it. Thank you so much.